In the year 2474, Earth had long been a member of the Intergalactic Federation, a sprawling consortium of planets teeming with diverse life forms and cultures. Among these, the Mirielans stood out for their profound emotional depth and unique societal norms, especially concerning matrimonial alliances. Captain Elijah Reed, a decorated human officer in the Galactic Peace Corps, found himself on the lush green planet of Miriala, where nature sang in hues of azure and emerald. His mission was straightforward: facilitate trade negotiations. But fate had a different plan etched in the stars for him. It was at the Grand Assembly of Unified Species, under the towering canopies of Miriala's ancient whispering trees, that Elijah first saw her, Arya, with eyes like molten silver and hair cascading down her shoulders in waves of midnight blue. She was a vision, captivating his human senses which were unaccustomed to such ethereal beauty. The Mirielans were known for their empathic abilities, feeling emotions as tangible as physical touch. Arya, a diplomat like him, wielded her empathy not as a weapon but as a bridge, connecting deeply with everyone she met. It wasn't long before Elijah found himself inexplicably drawn to her, her presence a soothing balm to the loneliness that shadowed his life in the cosmos. Their courtship was a whirlwind of emotional exchanges and cultural revelations. Mirialan courtship rituals involved sharing one's deepest fears and joys, and as they delved into each other's souls, Elijah was overwhelmed by the intensity of Mirialan emotions. It was during one such ritual, under the luminescent glow of Miriala's twin moons, that Arya hesitated, her usual fluid confidence stalling. "Elijah," she began, her voice a melody that hesitated on a somber note, "there is something you must understand before we proceed any further. In our culture, when you choose to bond with someone, you do not just connect with them but with their entire core family." Elijah, though taken aback, nodded, willing to traverse any cosmic storm for her. "I understand, Arya, and I'm ready. Whatever it takes," he affirmed, his voice steady with resolve. Arya's gaze held a mixture of admiration and sorrow. "It's not just about understanding, Elijah. It's about accepting that my two sisters, Myra and Lisa, are also part of this bond. You see, in our culture, the first to marry takes the responsibility of forming a bond that includes their siblings until they too find a bondmate."
The revelation struck Elia like a comet.
The concept was foreign, unfathomable to his human sensibilities. Yet, looking into Arya's earnest, expectant eyes, he felt a surge of emotions: confusion, intrigue, and an undeniable love that promised to transcend cultural barriers. That night, Elijah lay under the star-speckled sky, pondering the weight of his choices. Marrying Arya wasn't just about uniting with her, but entwining his life with her sisters as well. It was a commitment that spanned beyond individual desires, encompassing an entire family's hopes and dreams. As dawn painted the sky in strokes of pink and gold, Elijah's resolve hardened. He would not only accept Arya and her traditions but embrace them. For love, he realized, was not just an emotion but a journey across the cosmos, threading through stars and hearts alike. Thus, fortified by love and driven by a newfound understanding, Elijah prepared to step into a life intertwined with not just one Mirialan heart, but three. His journey of emotional and cultural exploration was just beginning, and the path ahead shimmered with the promise of unity, challenge, and endless adventure. As the first rays of the sun touched the verdant hills of Miriala, Elijah set about understanding the complexities of his impending bond. Arya, Myra, and Lisa, each sister was a unique weave in the tapestry of this union, each with her own dreams, fears, and aspirations. Myra, the second eldest, was a scholar of interstellar linguistics, her life dedicated to the preservation and study of ancient dialects across the galaxy. Her demeanor was reserved, her mind a vault of knowledge that could unlock the secrets of forgotten civilizations. Lisa, the youngest, was the embodiment of Mirialan vivacity, her energy as boundless as the starry sky, her passion for galactic botany evident in the lush gardens that adorned their home. Elijah's days became a blend of learning and adaptation. He spent mornings with Myra, deciphering the nuances of nonverbal communication that dominated interstellar diplomacy. Afternoons were reserved for Lisa, exploring the expansive fields of flora that thrived under her careful hands, discussing the symbiotic relationships between plant life and planetary ecosystems. Each moment with Arya was a deep dive into the emotional currents of Mirialan society. Their evenings were spent walking along the bioluminescent beaches of Noloria, the soft sands glowing underfoot, as they discussed everything from Federation politics to the delicate balance of personal and communal responsibilities in Mirialan culture.
One evening, as twilight melded with the darkness of space, an unexpected challenge arose.
They were visiting the great library of Varellis, a repository of galactic history, when an alarm echoed through the ancient stone halls. A diplomatic envoy from the neighboring planet of Zoltrax had arrived unannounced, their intentions unclear and potentially fraught with political tension. Elijah watched as Arya transformed before his eyes, her diplomatic prowess coming to the fore. She greeted the Zaltraxian delegates with a grace that belied the suddenness of their arrival. The discussions that followed were tense, the Zaltraxians pressing for access to a disputed star system rich in resources but sacred to the Miriolans. As Arya navigated the complex dialogue, advocating for peace but asserting their cultural rights, Elijah's respect for her deepened. He realized that this union was not just about love or familial obligations, but about standing together in the face of galaxy-spanning challenges. The negotiation stretched into the night, and Elijah found himself drawn into the discourse, his human perspective adding a unique dimension to the proceedings. His contribution was a testament to his growing role not just as a partner, but as a key player in the delicate dance of interstellar diplomacy. With the crisis averted and the Zaltraxian delegates departing under a banner of mutual respect, the trio of sisters expressed their gratitude to Elijah, their embraces warm and their smiles bright under the glow of Miriala's moons. As they walked back through the silver-leafed forest, the air alive with the chirps of nocturnal creatures, Elijah felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. He was no longer an outsider but a crucial part of this extraordinary family, each member's strengths and weaknesses balancing the others in perfect harmony. The night ended with shared laughter and soft words exchanged under the starlit canopy of their garden, the future promising not just shared challenges but shared joys. The complex weave of their lives, with its unexpected turns and vibrant hues, was just beginning to unfold. Life on Miriala grew more intricate with each passing day. Elijah, now more adept at navigating the cultural and emotional landscapes of his new family, began to understand the subtleties of Mirialan life, which were as complex as the neural pathways of the bioluminescent plants Lisa adored. The season of the Great Alignment was approaching, a period marked by the rare convergence of Miriala's 3 moons. It was a time of heightened emotions and energy, a phase of profound significance in Mirialan culture, celebrated with a festival of lights and the exchange of bonds, a perfect backdrop for Elijah to formally join the family. Preparations for the festival were extensive. Elijah found himself working alongside Myra, who took it upon herself to teach him the ancient Mirialan script, necessary for understanding the rites of bond exchange. The script was not merely a means of communication, but a series of intricate symbols that encoded the history and emotions of the people. Meanwhile, Arya was deep in negotiations with various planetary ambassadors who were arriving for the festival. The event had grown in stature and now served as a galactic hub for fostering peace and unity. Her ability to weave through diplomatic intricacies with grace was nothing short of artistry. Lisa introduced Elijah to the heart of the forest, a sacred site where the energy of Miriala was believed to be strongest. Here, under the towering luminescent trees, they prepared the ceremonial ground with rare flowers that bloomed only during the alignment, their petals glowing with ethereal light. As the first of the 3 moons rose into the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the planet, the festival began. The air was alive with the hum of ancient Mirialan chants, and the skies shimmered with natural and artificial lights. Elijah, dressed in traditional Mirialan garments that shimmered with the same luminescent quality as the forest, felt his heart beat in sync with the planet's rhythms. The bond exchange ceremony was both beautiful and solemn. Standing beside Arya, Myra, and Lisa at the heart of the forest, Elijah felt the weight of his commitment as he recited vows in the ancient script, his voice steady but his heart racing. The sisters, in turn, voiced their commitments, not just to him but to each other, reinforcing the bonds that held their family together. Post-ceremony, as the festival continued with its vibrant celebrations, a crisis loomed unexpectedly. A rogue faction from a distant sector, uninvited and unknown, made a sudden appearance, their ships descending with aggressive intent. The celebration turned chaotic as the planetary defense systems activated, and Elijah's training as a Galactic Peace Corps officer kicked in. He coordinated with Arya and the planet's defenders, formulating a response that would protect the guests and the inhabitants without escalating the conflict. It was a testament to his integration into Mirialan society that he now stood defending it as one of their own. Through a tense series of maneuvers and negotiations, facilitated by Arya's diplomatic touch and Elijah's strategic acumen, the conflict was defused. The rogue faction, seeking only to disrupt the unity the festival represented, was persuaded to depart, their grievances to be addressed at a later, more appropriate time. As peace was restored and the festival drew to a close, the family stood together once more under the canopy of the forest, their bond strengthened not just by tradition but by shared adversity. Elijah, now fully a part of this complex tapestry, felt a profound connection to Miriala, his new home, and to his family, who had shown immense strength and unity in the face of unexpected challenges. The dawn following the festival brought a serene calm over Miriala. The previous night's events, though fraught with danger, seemed to have deepened the resolve within each family member. Elijah, now more integrated than ever, found himself involved in the reflective discussions that ensued about the future security of Miriala. Arya, seeing the effectiveness of combined diplomatic and strategic responses, proposed the creation of a new advisory council to address such threats proactively. She suggested Elijah play a key role, utilizing his Peace Corps experience and the trust he had earned among the Mirialans. This move, while elevating his position, also brought to the fore the delicate balance of power and responsibility he would have to manage. As the planet rotated slowly under the twin suns, Myra approached Elijah with a proposal to codify the lessons learned into the cultural archives of Miriala. Their work began with the integration of human conflict resolution techniques with Mirialan philosophical doctrines, aiming to create a hybrid model of diplomacy that could serve as a blueprint for other civilizations in the Federation. Lisa, ever passionate about her botanical pursuits, discovered that the bioluminescent flora, stressed by the sudden invasion, had mutated into new forms. This piqued the interest of both Elijah and the scientific community, leading to discussions on the potential uses of these mutations. Elijah supported Lisa's research, which explored how these plants could be used to enhance planetary defense mechanisms naturally, integrating them into the ecosystem as living, responsive barriers to potential threats. In the midst of these evolving projects, an unexpected message arrived from Earth. The Terran government, intrigued by Elijah's reports and the unique solutions emerging from Miriala, expressed a desire to send ambassadors to learn from and possibly implement similar strategies on Earth and other human colonies. This news stirred a mix of excitement and apprehension in Elijah. It was a testament to his work and integration on Miriala, yet it brought with it the weight of representing not just his own species but also the family and planet he had grown to love. The implications were vast, and the discussions that followed with Arya and her sisters were intense and emotional. Arya, with her keen diplomatic sense, saw this as an opportunity to strengthen interstellar relationships and showcase Mirialan culture on a galactic stage. Myra, always cautious, raised concerns about the exposure to Earth's more aggressive tendencies and the need for clear boundaries and protocols. As preparations for the Earth delegation began, Elijah took a moment to observe Miriala from the high balcony of their home. The planet, with its vibrant ecosystems and complex cultures, had embraced him fully. He wondered how his own world would react to the deeply emotional and connected way of life here. The preparations involved cultural briefings for the incoming Earth representatives, highlighting the importance of emotional intelligence and communal harmony, concepts Elijah once found foreign but now saw as essential to universal understanding. He worked closely with Arya to develop a program that would not only inform but also inspire their visitors. Meanwhile, Lisa's experiments with the mutated plants yielded promising results. The new species exhibited qualities that could potentially revolutionize how living ecosystems supported planetary defenses. Elijah helped facilitate a collaboration between Mirialan scientists and a few trusted Earth botanists, aiming to foster a project that could benefit multiple worlds. As the day of arrival drew closer, Elijah felt a convergence of his past and present. He was a bridge between two worlds, each with its own strengths and vulnerabilities. The upcoming interactions would not only test the resilience of these bonds, but also shape the future course of interstellar relations. The arrival of the Earth delegation on Miriala was met with both pomp and cautious diplomacy. The air was thick with anticipation as the Terran ambassador and her team descended from their spacecraft, their eyes wide at the lush vistas that greeted them. Elijah, standing beside Arya, Myra, and Lisa, felt a surge of pride and a twinge of nervousness. He was, in many ways, a representative of two worlds now, each holding a piece of his allegiance. The initial ceremonies were a blend of Mirialan traditions and a display of Earth's technological advancements. The Terrans presented a model of an eco-sustainable habitat, designed to function seamlessly within the natural environment, a gesture of goodwill and a nod to the importance of ecological preservation that Miriala championed. As the days progressed, the Earth representatives were immersed in a series of cultural exchanges and discussions. Elijah found himself often translating not just words but the subtleties of Mirialan expressions and the unspoken emotional currents that flowed through the meetings. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, with each side carefully navigating the cultural waters. Meanwhile, Myra took the lead in a series of academic exchanges. She organized workshops where Mirialan scholars and earth scientists could collaborate on the study of ancient scripts and modern linguistic theories. These sessions, filled with lively debates and shared discoveries, highlighted the deep intellectual connections that could bridge seemingly disparate cultures. Lisa, ever enthusiastic, guided the Terrans through the bioluminescent forests, explaining the ecological systems that supported not just the flora and fauna but also the planet's environmental stability. The mutated plants, now a focal point of research, sparked interest among the Earth botanists, leading to discussions about potential applications in Earth's own struggling ecosystems. One evening, as the twin suns set in a spectacular display of crimson and gold, a roundtable discussion was convened. The topic was sensitive: interstellar defense and security. Elijah, supported by Arya, presented the integrated defense strategies they had been developing, emphasizing the balance between technological prowess and natural defenses. The Terran ambassador, intrigued, proposed a joint venture, a defense initiative that would not only serve as a protective measure but also as a way of fostering deeper trust and cooperation between Earth and Miriala. The proposal was ambitious, requiring sharing of sensitive information and technology, which demanded a level of trust that had to be carefully constructed. Arya, with her diplomatic acumen, suggested a phased approach to the initiative, starting with non-sensitive exchanges to build confidence. Her proposal was met with nods of agreement, and a tentative plan was sketched out, to be refined over the coming months. As the visit drew to a close, the Terrans expressed their deep appreciation for Mirialan hospitality and the insights gained. The ambassador, in a private moment with Elijah, admitted her initial skepticism about the depth of emotional connections in Mirialan culture, but acknowledged how these very connections were the planet's strength. Elijah watched the spacecraft lift off, feeling a complex blend of relief and anticipation. The visit had opened new doors and presented new challenges, but more importantly, it had sown the seeds of a growing partnership. In the quiet that followed the delegation's departure, Elijah reflected on the evolving landscape of his life. He was no longer just a Peace Corps officer or a human. He was a member of a family that stood at the nexus of interstellar diplomacy and cultural synthesis. In the weeks following the departure of the Earth delegation, Miriala buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose. The agreements laid down during the visit had set the stage for a new era of cooperation, and Elijah found himself at the heart of it, mediating between his homeworld and his new family. The Joint Defense Initiative slowly took shape, guided by the principles agreed upon during the discussions. Elijah worked closely with Arya, who was now appointed as the chief liaison for the project, her diplomatic skills proving invaluable as they navigated the complexities of sharing sensitive technologies and strategies. Meanwhile, Myra's academic collaboration with Earth had flourished. The exchange of knowledge had expanded into a full-fledged interstellar academic program, attracting scholars from across the galaxy. Myra, once reserved and focused solely on her research, had blossomed into a prominent educator, her lectures bridging worlds and cultures. Lisa's botanical experiments had also borne fruit, quite literally. The mutated plants, once a curious anomaly, had been developed into biodefensive systems, capable of detecting and neutralizing environmental threats. These systems were now being pilot-tested on other Federation planets, showcasing Miriala's commitment to ecological defense solutions. One quiet evening, as Elijah sat on the terrace overlooking the gardens Lisa had nurtured, he pondered the rapid changes that had enveloped his life. It was not just the political or scientific advancements that had marked these changes, but the deeper, more personal transformations within him. The bond with Arya and her sisters had grown beyond mere familial ties. It was a profound connection that transcended species and cultures. As the season changed, signaling the approach of the Mirialan New Year, preparations began for a celebration unlike any before. It was to be a symbol of new beginnings, of unity and hope. Elijah, now fully versed in Mirialan customs, took an active part in the festivities, helping to orchestrate a gala that would include delegates from across the Federation. The night of the celebration was clear, the stars shining with unwavering light. The garden was aglow with bioluminescent flowers, and the air was filled with a mingling sense of exotic spices and sweet earth. As the guests arrived, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation, the upcoming year promising further strides in interstellar cooperation. During the gala, Elijah gave a speech, his words echoing the sentiments of unity and shared destiny. He spoke not just as a human or a Mirialan by bond, but as a citizen of the galaxy. His speech was met with applause and cheers, the audience moved by his genuine passion and vision. Later, as he stood beside Arya, watching the festivities, he felt a gentle squeeze of her hand. They shared a look, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had undertaken together. It was a moment of quiet intimacy amid the swirl of celebration, a reminder of the personal joys that underpinned their public roles. As the evening drew to a close, the first light of the New Year's dawn began to crest the horizon. Elijah, Arya, Myra, and Lisa gathered together, their hands joined in a circle, their eyes reflecting the light of the rising sun. They made silent promises to each other and to their planet, their commitment to peace and prosperity resounding in their hearts. The celebration ended not with a grand finale, but with a peaceful, hopeful whisper into the night, a fitting testament to the quiet strength and enduring bonds that defined their lives and their roles in the galaxy.